Hello everyone, welcome back for your daily dose of serotonin. This is part 7 of Lost in Orbit, titled Wallflower. So, let me get this straight. You disappeared, came back half dead, and woke up snuggling Senku Ishigami's coat. Explain? Kaede snickers, lollipop stem tucked into the corner of her lips. She sits on the edge of the open van trunk, feet swinging like she hasn't a care in the world. There's nothing to explain, you grunt, shoulders shaking under the weight of the box you're hauling beside her. Before anything, you all decided it was best to make sure every single box of equipment is taken out. It'll save you the time and effort later. And I wasn't snuggled up to it. The box drops onto the platform cart, metal clattering from the force. Liar! Kaede bellows into the sky. She fans a crinkled scrap of paper between her fingers. He even wrote you a love letter. It's embarrassing enough that Amira was awake to see you walk in wearing it last night. She hadn't said a word, just slid her glasses down to give you that loaded, knowing look. Now Kaede has you on trial, claiming you were clinging on to the thing like some lovesick koala. You snatch the paper from her. It's not a love letter. He dared to write you directions on a piece of paper, like leaving you with his coat wasn't bad enough. All it says is biolab, sunflower conservatory, and don't get lost. You wonder, what logical explanation would he come up with for that? He had to have known he wouldn't have his coat on him, or else he wouldn't have prepared a note in advance. To top it off, Kaede will be in the biolab. You at least have an excuse. You were too tired to remember that the coat wasn't yours, so you did what you usually do. Threw it onto the covers to figure out in the morning. When you blinked the grogginess away, however, the name tag and cologne that didn't belong to you were a mortifying sight. Amira shakes her head, dusting her fingers. You know, next time you want to go undress him, you can just ask me. Don't have to make an entire elaborate distraction, she says pointedly. Kaede cackles in the background, hand over her mouth in disbelief. Yo, she hollers. I just wanted to sleep. You throw your head back, palms dragging over your face. The sharp sunlight breaks through the clouds, spotlighting your humiliation. It's always funnier when you're not the target. Normally, Kaede takes the fall. Her revolving door of crushes gives you endless ammo for teasing interrogations. But the second she caught wind of your rivalry with Senku, she rubbed her hands together like an evil fly, grinning so wide it haunted your dreams. If you say so, Amira whistles to herself, circling the van for anything left behind. Her version of crush is a 250-part mechanical arm fitted with custom torque regulators. There's no teasing her for that, and she knows it. You guys... The stomp of your foot echoes through the parking lot, over the rustling trees in the distance. It was windy, okay? He just gave me the coat so the painkillers would work. Kaede deadpans, staring at you like you've grown a second head. That's practically shoujo manga behavior. She throws her hands up. It was none of that. Denial is a river in Egypt. Amira pats you on the back, strolling past you to nudge Kaede out of the trunk. Kaede hops off, tongue curling over her sly grin. Next thing you know, he's confessing under the cherry blossoms. She props her hands into two puppets, making them mumble to each other theatrically. I'm Senku, and I'm gonna blah 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 blah, because logic, logic, logic. Her impression is terrible. She bobs her head like a pigeon, eyes bugged wide, lips sucked in so tight her whole face looks like it's collapsing. It's ridiculous enough to make your chest shake. But then she does your part. Oh, Senku, I would love to listen to all your science. Did you know that I've been obsessing over you for the past 4 years? That sounds nothing like you either, and you would never say anything like that. You lurch your head towards her, teeth bared, the chomp of your teeth just barely missing her fingertips. With a cartoonish squeak, Kaede yanks her hand back and scuttles toward Amira for safety. The cart jerks under Amira's grip as Kaede ducks behind her. This time, a happy squeal erupts from Kaede's lips. Okay, this is heaven! You can't help but laugh under your breath, eyes wide with wonder at the sight. A dreamlike violet shimmer dominates the room. Half the walls are lined with freezers and incubators, glowing with a blue light. It illuminates the rounded glass vials, which contain tiny green embryos suspended in a nutrient-rich fluid. The cart's wheels squeak. "Which station is yours, Kaede?" Amira halts, only half indulging in the visuals. C4, I think." She unravels a small piece of paper between her frantic fingers. "Yeah, C4. You trail closely behind Kaede, your footsteps muted by the glossy tiles. Everyone here is in their own little world. Tables separated by fairly lit reflective shelves, each to their own private jungle. One table catches your attention. Vine-like leaves drape over in a waterfall green and pink. The rounded edges tug at your curiosity, and you instinctively lean closer. Hearts. The leaves look like hearts. Kaede practically buzzes beside you, hands clasped behind her back, while she shifts back and forth. That's the string of hearts, also known as Ceropegia woodi, native to South Africa and known for its heart-shaped, variegated leaves. Cute, right? She bounces to the next display. And this is the string of pearls, Senecio rowleyanus, daisy family. Thrives in bright light, even artificial. Unlike the hearts, these look like little peas, strung together in strands, plants shaped like beads instead of leaves. It's so strange you almost forget to close your mouth. "How are you guys keeping them alive in here?" you question. There's no way plants from other countries would survive without being modified or adapted in some way. Your fingers twitch at your sides. You want to touch them, feel the textures, spin the stems between your fingers, smell the green. She spreads her arms like she's introducing the room itself. The lab is climate controlled. Special grow lights, humidity regulators, and nutrient systems mimic the plant's native habitat. It's pretty cool. You nod, following her motions that lead you to the glass cases that line the walls, each glowing under artificial light. Humidifiers whisper, mist curling over broad tropical leaves. Of course, the lab is its own little ecosystem, bending Japan's climate into whatever the plants demanded. Very cool, you murmur. Kaede clasps her hands together with scrunched shoulders. She lets out a hum of contempt and turns around. Her dimples dig deep, making her look almost childlike. This person must really like stringy plants, you utter, legs moving but gaze still half stuck to the pretty plants. It causes you to miss a step, and you flinch forward, arms flailing in front of you. You manage to maintain balance, but the lab coat on your shoulders drags against you, slipping. Amira doesn't move to help. She just leans in against the cart, smirking. "Try not to bulldoze the lab before you find your boyfriend's station," she says. Your hands pause against the tough fabric of the coat. Straightening your posture, you huff. You need to stop calling him that. What if someone heard you? You look side to side. Her mutter is low, but you catch the tail end of it. Probably another jab about your so-called boyfriend. With the power of Amira's sense of direction, the three of you eventually track down Station C4. Kaede all but squeals when she finds her bench, immediately unpacking her carefully labeled jars and setting up her glow light like a surgeon preparing for an operation. You and Amira linger nearby, watching her handle each cutting with reverence. But the coat is heavy on your shoulder, tugging at your focus. There's still one last delivery you need to make. You excuse yourself from the two, backing away from Kaede's happy chatter. The air carries a damp, green smell, earth and leaf veins tinged with sterile metal. The people here blend into the environment, rooted like saplings, heads bowed into their work, all set on achieving the only thing that matters: victory. You, Stellatrack's lead developer, are wandering around the biolab, undeniably out of place. The other representative is nowhere to be seen. It's weird. When you actively look for him, he's nowhere to be found, but the second you relax, he materializes like he's mapped your orbit already. You wouldn't be surprised if he's already spotted you. The different colors and shapes of projects in progress fill your vision. Every station a reflection of personality. Cacti with spines like glass needles, orchids with petals soft as silk, trays of moss growing under UV lamps. A glass door saturates the corner of the room with its warm light. Clay flower pots form uniform patterns on shelves, housing lanky stems. The orange glow meets the cool lab purple, blending halfway into a subtle brown haze. With a hydraulic swoosh, the door slides open and you stroll through. The atmosphere thickens, replaced by a low, friendly chatter and unmistakable heat. A featherlight frond brushes your arm, so you move away. The tugging feeling doesn't stop, and without thinking, you yank away your arm harder. It drags along the surface, following you. Sunflowers. Velvety golden petals splay wide, the brown disc in the center packed tight with seeds in perfect spirals. You haven't seen variants like this in Japan before. You steady the clay pot into place, petals rustling. More heads tilt into your field of vision, all flaxen, all unwavering in their silent optimism. If summer were a smell, it would be this room, toasted pollen with a hint of warm grass. Through the large glass wall of the conservatory, you squint. From here you can see birds cutting through the clouds in uniform formation. You read somewhere that the old and sick birds are positioned at the back. It cuts drag, letting the one in the front take the wind's brunt while the others save energy. The brick floor is rough on the bottom of your shoes, and the voices grow closer, mingling into bright, giddy sentences. You trail your fingers over the laminated labels, squinting to read. It says, "Did you know sunflowers can be cuddly?" Teddy bear sunflowers are bushy and spherical. This type of sunflower produces double blooms, which gives them a full and fluffy head like a stuffed bear. The petals are fluffy between the drag of your fingers. Kaede would definitely love these. "So, do you like flowers?" a gentle voice asks over the girlish giggles. You tilt your ear towards the commotion. "I like data," he responds bluntly. "This data just happens to smell nice." You know that voice, straightforward as a blade, dry as desert air. "Well, you're super gentle with them." Yeah, who knew science could look like art or gardening? Turning the corner, you pause. Several figures crowd a table, heavily intrigued. You can just barely see him through the crevices, but he's hunched over, one hand scribbling notes. How did he manage to get surrounded like that? And how are you going to give him the coat? You can't just barge into their conversation and make the exchange. A rumor is the last thing you need right now. "Well," a voice purrs at your side, words stretch like ribbon. Heart leaping, you flinch. His tone is playful, like he's about to introduce the main act at a magic show. The escapee, the rising star, the girl with the sharp tongue. He ticks them off like a list he's rehearsed. His smile drapes itself too easily across his face, his posture as lazy as ever. From his palm, a flower seems to bloom into existence with the flick of his wrist. "Gen Asagiri," he announces. "Charming illusionist and your oh-so-charismatic announcer." He drifts it toward you in one fluid motion, free hand against his chest as he dips into a deep bow. "It's a pleasure to meet you." And that is the end of part 7 titled Wallflower. I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. And we have a new character in the motion. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Gen. I love Gen. So yeah, and just to clarify, this will not be a love triangle. I repeat, this will not be a love triangle. Gen is just Gen and our oh so charming mentalist. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I hope you are ready to hear more from me, because I am ready to give you all more. Make sure to check out my Wattpad and Tumblr. The links will be below. And yes, I hope you enjoy your day, and goodbye.